Good afternoon, everybody, for Indonesia. Good morning here for the ones in Europe. We have a short 15 minutes. I will give you a short presentation about what is UV light, what does it do, how does it work, and about the device, the D25. It is also situated behind me. So at the end of the presentation, I will give a short demo of how the device works, so you get an understanding of how big the device is, how fast it goes, etc. If you have any questions, as we just explained, use the Q&A button, or at the end you can ask all the questions that you want, and I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, you can contact me via LinkedIn or email for any your questions. So first question, what is UV light and what is UVC light? Well, UV light is natural light. It comes from the sun, and you have different bandwidths of UV. So UVA, B, and C. And UVA and B, they reach the Earth, and UVC is stopped by the ozone layer. But that's a good thing, because UVC light is very destructive light, as we call it. Because what it does, it actually breaks the DNA and RNA of organisms. So there's also organisms, not only viruses, bacteria, yeast, and fungi, but also organisms to humans. So if UVC is admitted to humans, to their skin or to their eyes, you can get skin cancer, you can turn blind. We get a lot of questions, can we also disinfect hands or the whole humans with UVC light? No, that's not possible. The only way you can do that is by disinfecting objects. And with this UVC light, we actually developed a product. This product is called the D25. It's an automated UVC disinfection device in 25 seconds. It's the first product ever. We're validated. We are CE marked class 2A. We're certified, and we're supported by a lot of clinical research. So we did a lot of studies, not only in the Netherlands, but also in Germany, Belgium. And all these studies actually concluded that we are the first medical device that uses UV as disinfection method. And currently we're operating in 19 countries around the world. We are powered by our patented and trademarked Impellex technology. I will get later to that, but that enables us to do very fast and rapid disinfection and validated at the same time. And one of the advantages of our device is, and about UV light is it's very simple to plug in. The only thing you need is a 220-volt socket, and then the device runs. So you don't need any special applications for your water, for chemicals, for special power, etc. All you need is a normal plug. So as I mentioned earlier, the device is validated, certified, and supported by clinical research. We are the first medically certified UVC disinfection device for non-invasive medical equipment. We have a CE marking of a class 2A, so we're an active medical device. We're also fully ISO 13485 certified, and it's all done under the MDD. A few examples: thermometers, surveillance monitoring equipment, stethoscopes, communication systems, actually everything that goes from patient to patient. So everything that goes on the skin of the patient or around the patient can be disinfected in just 25 seconds. So UVC has a full spectrum. So it means you have the full bacterial or the full organism spectrum. It means we can disinfect bacteria, fungi, yeast, spores, viruses, mycobacteria. Specifically, we also did tests on the MRSA bacteria that cause a lot of infections in nursing homes and hospitals. The VRE, the Corona family, of course, a hot topic now with the COVID crisis, the norovirus, coli virus, Staphylococcus aureus, etc. So we have the full spectrum, and that's actually very different from other disinfection methods like wipe for chemicals that sometimes only work against a certain virus or a certain family of organisms. But our device is the full spectrum, so you can disinfect anything. There's only one exception, and those are prions. But for you to know who are in the field of disinfection, that is known, prions cannot be killed by anything, but also not by UV light. So it's always good to mention that is not possible. So now we have our Impellex technology. We have 4 different patents, and these patents actually achieve that we can do a very fast disinfection cycle. It only takes 25 seconds. We enable them that there's no human contact with UV light. As I mentioned earlier, UV light can destroys the DNA and RNA connection on organisms, so it also does it on humans. So that's why you want that humans never are exposed to UVC light, because it's very harmful to them. We have a high reflective chamber because one of the things with UV light, the biggest enemy of UV light is shadow. So if there's shadow, there's no disinfection. That's why you need to have a reflective chamber to make sure that the light comes everywhere in all cracks and all little corners to make sure you have a full, validated and consistent disinfection cycle. With our also Impellex technology, we enable that it is sustainable, economically friendly. So the device is fully recyclable. Also the lamps that we use and other wear parts, you can fully recyclable. Especially we see here in hospitals in Europe, but I'm sure worldwide it's also an issue. The hospitals trying to get greener and greener, meaning they want to get rid of the chemicals, they want to get rid of all the wipes, they want to get rid of all the tissues, and we have a solution. And because we operate on a specific bandwidth, we are harmless to materials. So there's no structural damage whatsoever to any objects that you put in the device. So you can put in plastics, steel, Velcro, artificial leather, and any hard surfaces that we can disinfect. And that's very high energy. And by doing so, we make sure there's always a validated and validated disinfection cycle. As I mentioned earlier, it's very sustainable and economically friendly. And eco-friendly as well. It's not harmful to materials, so you have no structural damage to the devices that you put in in our disinfection devices. So infusion pumps you can put in, etc. Sometimes you see now that with the current disinfection methods, like chemicals, you see that the screens break a little, or the buttons get sticky, or the buttons break because they get wet. What else is all not with our devices not the way. Also because we don't use chemicals, there's no water. We also call it a cold and dry disinfection because in the chamber it does not heat up and it does not get any liquid is used. So by doing that, you can also easily put in electronic devices. And it's a very low energy consumption. The device roughly takes 150 watts per 25 seconds, meaning that's as much as your laptop currently is. So also there's no big impact on the environment, but also no big impact on the installation. It's a very simple design. We try to make it as easy as possible for all users. So there are no buttons, no stop buttons, nothing. There's just a screen, but without the language, so that all operators around the world can use it. It's very compact and versatile. I can show it later to you. You can put it on a trolley, so you can easily move it from room to room. For instance, if a patient is in isolation, or you have, for instance, a patient or a COVID department, you can put a few devices there to make sure that everybody that goes in or out disinfect all their objects. It's an automated 25-second cycle. There's no manual intervention, and it's very easy. And it's part of the hand hygiene. So our current customers, they put it a lot at the entrance, for instance, at the department. Anyone who wants to go on the department, for instance, an ICU unit or a neonatology, they have to disinfect all kinds of objects that they want to bring up. This can be phones, tablets, but also can be infusion pumps, thermometers, blood pressure meters, etc. And because it's there, it also supports the hand hygiene process. Because it only takes 25 seconds. In the meantime, the user must disinfect their hands, so it becomes part of the flow. Currently, because it's so versatile, we can actually deploy it anywhere. And our current users and customers, they use it in ER rooms, ICU units, neonatology units, burn centers, hematology, oncology, actually everywhere where there are a lot of vulnerable patients who are subjective to infections. But also now we see with the COVID crisis that is being deployed in more departments. That was in short our presentation about the device and UV light. But now I also want to give a short demo. So here you have the device. It's the D25, roughly the size of a big printer, so 50 by 50, 50 high. To give you an understanding of what kind of objects can be placed. Here we have this old infusion pump. I'm sure a lot of you knows, but it's just a way to see how big the device is. This can easily fit in. You still have enough space here, you have space around it, and you can easily disinfect such an object. So if it's placed in an apartment like this, the lid is always open. When the user comes, they put the device that they want to disinfect. They close the lid, And that's all they have to do. The light will turn on and the object's being disinfected. In the meantime, they can take off their coat or their mouth mask or their face shield or anything, their gloves, disinfect their hands. That takes 25 seconds. You can do it with soap, alcohol, or whatever. And after the 25 seconds, the device automatically pops open. And with clean hands, you can take out the clean device from the D25. You also see that the device gives green light for a good disinfection, because we have multiple sensors in the device measuring if there was enough UVC light emitted and if there was a good disinfection. For instance, if something went wrong, if there's an emergency and somebody has a device inside the D25 and they have to do it, you can open it. The light will automatically turn off and you'll get a red light, meaning there was not good disinfection and the user has to do it again. As you can see, it is quite big. You can put in multiple phones, and put in VR goggles. Some even use it for mouth mask disinfection. You can all fit it in. That's no problem. You just close it. It will run for 25 seconds again. And in the meantime, don't forget to disinfect your hands. And afterwards, the devices are all fully disinfected. They're free of all bacteria, free of possible coronavirus that people are bringing into a hospital or into other locations that are sensitive to bacteria and infections. And you're ready to go. That's how easy it is. My phone still works. There is no issue there. So if you have any other questions or remarks, or you want to get in touch to see what else is possible, we're still expanding around the world and looking for partners, especially also in Asia. So yeah, please get in touch. And if there are any questions, let me know, or visit our website, ubsmart.nl, and you can find the contact details. Thank you very much.